overweight starting exercising. We are all aware that exercise is important. We know we should be doing it, but something always seems to keep us from getting started. There are many of us. In the USA, more than 60% of the population gets little or no exercise, even though we have been reminded time and again of the wonderful effects of regular physical activity on body and mind. Americans constantly go on diets. Yet, in the last 3 decades, we have become fatter and fatter, despite the fact that we actually consume fewer calories than in the past. Since body fat cannot appear out of thin air, the explanations for our increasing weight must be that we are using up a lot fewer calories than we are consuming. It isn't difficult to figure out why this is so. All we have to do is to look around at our lives. We are surrounded by machines and gadgets that make moving unnecessary. Remote control TVs, radios and DVDs, automatic gear shift cars, elevators and escalators, washing machines and dishwashers, computers and fax machines, email at home and in the office, catalog and internet shopping, motorized lawn mowers, and so forth and so on. We hardly have to lift a finger to get through the day. And to be sure, most of us don't. According to one exercise expert, if we spend 2 minutes an hour of each workday sending email to office mates instead of walking down the hall to talk to them, we will eventually accumulate the caloric equivalent of 11 pounds of body fat in a decade. The problem is body fat. Compared to muscle tissue, body fat needs fewer calories to maintain itself. As a result, as we gain weight, our metabolic rate, the number of calories we use up minute by minute, drops and we gain even more weight. This results in the vicious cycle of inactivity and weight gain that many of us suffer from. On the whole, Americans don't exercise much. In fact, fewer than 1/5 engage in regular, sustained, vigorous physical activity, the kind that makes them sweat a little, the kind that lowers the risk of chronic diseases and early death. There is mounting evidence that such physical activity can greatly reduce the risk of developing and dying of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, hypertension, and osteoporosis. Despite all this evidence, the proportions of Americans who engage in this kind of exercise has not increased since the mid-1980s. Prompted by lack of progress, some leading health authorities have decided to make changes in the advice they offer the public. Instead of pushing everyone to exercise at their so-called target heart rate for at least 20 minutes at a time, at least 3 times a week, experts now suggest a more practical approach. They recommend that we do 30 minutes or more of only moderately intense physical activity, but do it almost every day. They even say that the 30 minutes of daily activity can be divided into shorter 10-minute segments.